With duplex streams, we can implement both a readable and writable stream with the same object. It's as if we can inherit from both interfaces. Here's an example duplex stream that combines the two examples we've implemented in the previous clip. For every duplex stream, we have to implement both the write and the read methods. By combining the streams here, we can use this duplex stream to read the letters from A to Z, and we can also use it for its echo feature. We pipe the standard in into this duplex stream to use the echo feature, and we pipe the duplex stream itself into the standard out to read the letters A through Z. It's extremely important to understand that the readable and writable sides of a duplex stream operate completely independently from one another. This is merely a grouping of two features into one object. A transform stream is the more interesting duplex stream because its output is computed from its input. We don't have to implement read or write. We only need to implement a transform method, which combines both of them. It has the signature of the write method, and we can use it to push data as well. In this transform stream, which we're consuming exactly like the previous example, but we only implemented a transform method, and in that method, we convert the chunk into its uppercase version, then push that as the readable part. And we still need to call the callback, just like in the write method. This stream is effectively implements the same echo feature, but converting the input into uppercase first. Testing this script, anything we type will be echoed back in uppercase format. Let's take a look at a more useful transform stream, the zlib create gzip function. In this example, we read a file name from the argument, create a read stream from that file name, pipe that into the transform stream from zlib gzip, and pipe that into a writable stream on the file system using the same file name with a .gz extension. This script basically compresses a file and writes the compressed file back into the file system. I've included a test file here for testing. Let's compress that. We'll get a test.file.gz, and I can basically remove test.file and recover it by g-unzipping the compressed version. The cool thing about using pipes is that we can actually combine them with events if we need to. Say, for example, I want to console log a done message when this script is done writing the compressed data into the file system. I'll need to use the finish event on the writable stream here, but since the pipe method returns the destination, I can just chain a .onCall here, register the finish event handler, and console log my line in there. And say that we want to give the user a progress indicator. We can use the data event on the duplex stream, which indicates that we've made progress compressing some data. Let's just output a dot in there. And now if we run the script, not only it will compress the file, but it will give the progress indicator as well. So with pipe, we get to easily consume streams, but we can still further customize our interaction with them using events where needed. What's great about pipe though is that we can use it to compose our program piece by piece. So for example, instead of listening to the data event, we can simply create a transform stream to report progress. So this progress stream would be a simple pass-through stream, but it reports the progress to standard out as well. Note how I use the second argument in the callback to push the data, which is equivalent to pushing the data first. So now we can just pipe the zlib stream into progress to make it report the progress, which is really cool. The applications here are endless. Say that we want to encrypt the file as well after we gzip it. All we need to do is pipe another transform stream. The crypto module has a transform stream that does exactly what we want. All we need to do is add it to our pipe chain. The script now compresses and encrypts this file, and only those who have the secret can use the outputted file. It's actually not a .gz anymore, so we can use any extension here. And we can't unzip this file with the normal unzip utility because it's encrypted. To actually be able to unzip anything zipped with this script successfully, we need to use the opposite streams for crypto and zlib in a reverse order. So we create a read stream from the compressed version, pipe that into the crypto create decipher stream, and then pipe that into the g-unzip stream, and then write things out back to a file without the extension part. We can now use this script to unzip our specially zipped file.